Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. So good to see you bright and early in the morning. Temperature's not bad. It's actually kind of comfortable out there. We fell down into the 60s for a lot of you. It is going to be humid today. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be as oppressive and tropical as it was over the past couple days. 68 in Hamilton, 72 in Trenton, 73 in Edison, 72 in Atlantic City. And no, we are not going to see these temperatures continue through the morning. We are going to get warmer. We'll probably end up in the mid and upper 80s this afternoon. Winds light, just a couple miles an hour out of the north. Dew point of 69 in Hamilton and Vineland, 66 in Asbury Park, 70s from Atlantic City to Cape May. Nothing going on Doppler radar. We got to zoom all the way out, and you'll see that we have this system that's going to be eventually pushing towards us. Not today. We have nice weather, partly to mostly sunny skies, relatively comfortable and relatively rain-free. Maybe tonight some showers are possible, but for the most part, this wet weather is well out to the west over Indiana and the Ohio Valley. This is part of a warm front that's going to start to lift on through our region. So our big picture for today shows you the adverse weather conditions staying well down to the south and west as high pressure is in control. Winds off the ocean. That means no flies if you're going to the beach. Our severe weather outlook today, just a general chance of a couple isolated showers or thunderstorms. Your marginal and slight risk of severe weather pushed down to our south and west, but that's going to be moving in by tomorrow. I don't think it's a widespread severe weather event for us, but I can't rule out some stronger thunderstorms in the afternoon hours, maybe in the morning possible too. So nothing going on our Futurecast satellite radar. There will likely be some clouds that form. We might become mainly cloudy at a time or two. Not as bright as where we are early in the morning, obviously, but still a decent day. This model's a little bit underdone, rather. I think there will be a little more in terms of shower and thunderstorm activity going into tomorrow. But the real wet weather, oh boy, that's coming our way as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday. 86 in Hamilton, 83 in Toms River, 88 in Edison. If you're going to the beach today, perfect opportunity. That east wind, that's going to push all those critters, the greenheads, the flies, the mosquitoes, back onto the marshes. 70 in the water, and that number is going to come up with that onshore flow. 85 on the sand, sun and clouds will mix. Moderate rip current risk as our hurricane is churning up the water. I think our rip current risk tomorrow is going to be high, so make sure you're swimming at only lifeguard protected beaches to make sure your safety is your top priority, please. We already went over today's temperatures. We want to get right down to business and talk about Hurricane Isaias. It is a Category 1 hurricane with winds at 85 miles an hour, pressures at 987 millibars, and it's moving to the northwest at 12, and it doesn't look very healthy at all. I mean, there was a lot of convection last night. The center of the storm, the eye was closed off. Not the case right now because it is running into dry air, and I think this thing is going to continue to decay. Still, obviously, we got to watch this. It is going to give us a significant impact in some respect, but it does not look like it's going to have the potential to reach its maximum potential that we were thinking earlier in the week, and that's good news. Our water vapor, is showing you it's moisture rich for sure. There's a lot of thunderstorm activity in it, but look at that dry air on the northwest flank here. It's being sucked into the storm. And these weaker, less organized storms have a hard time dealing with that, and they get a little bit weaker and they continue to get less organized. The official track from the Hurricane Center has it going right through the Big Island of the Bahamas and then interacting with the east coast of Florida. 2 in the afternoon on Sunday, Category 1 hurricane just offshore of Daytona by 2 in the morning on Monday at a 75-mile-an-hour storm, and then it starts to curve. Now, depending on which forecast guidance you side with, I do believe it's probably going to be a little further west, maybe making landfall somewhere in South Carolina, if not North Carolina, then continue to the north-northeast from there. Our cone of concern kind of widens a little bit because there are still some issues, some questions that we need to be answered. Now, I don't see this thing going out to sea. I just don't think that's an option. The coast hugger solution, which I'm going to show you those different options in a second, would put that center at about 50 to 75 miles offshore and close enough to give us a pretty decent impacting storm with rain and wind and tidal flooding and all that kind of stuff. And then it's going to start to rocket into New England. As these things climb in latitude, they get faster. So we're going to see it go from North Carolina all the way up into New England in the span of 24 hours or less. Now, scenario number one, which I am siding with right now, I believe that's the more likely scenario. I started thinking that yesterday. That would assume a stronger ridge of high pressure farther west. It would assume a weaker storm, and the major impact would be avoided for our region. Now, that does not mean we skip out. In fact, we're looking at significant rain, and there will be some tidal flooding. It's a slower moving storm if it interacts with the land. If it's over the ocean, there's no real friction, so it's able just to move up freely. But if it's over the land, it starts to collapse and expand, and the rain bands get heavier, and you have that flow coming in off the ocean just to exacerbate it. Winds will be out of the south and the southeast, better than the northeast. So our flooding situation, I would still prepare for moderate tidal flooding. Your worst tidal flooding would probably be on Tuesday night. We're going to hammer out the details on the flooding aspect of this by tomorrow, all right? We are still waiting for the tide guidance to come in. By tonight, we'll be able to tell you what the track is likely going to be, what the winds will be, and what the rain will be. But the flooding, that's the most, significant, in my opinion at least, portion of this, and I want to make sure that we aren't jumping the gun. We want to get you ready for what is likely to play out. But 3 to 6 inches of rain in a short period of time, that means there will be flooding issues. Now, scenario number 2 can't totally be written off. It would assume a weaker, farther east ridge, and it would bring a stronger storm, though there is a lot of turbulence, so to say, wind shear that the storm would encounter, so it's probably not going to intensify beyond what it is right now. That would still bring big impacts to our area. Heavy rain, higher winds, and a better chance for moderate to major tidal flooding. Right now, I'm not leaning towards that option. Scenario number 1 looks to be a little bit more realistic right now. This area right here, this is wind shear. Wind shear is change in wind direction with height, and that kind of shears off the top of the clouds and weakens the storm. So it's going to get in a little bit more favorable area, but you have the dry air to contend with. After that, off the Carolina coast, it's going to be interacting with that, and that's going to help further weaken the system. So the track is going to determine a lot. If it's west, if it's an inland track, yes, we will get tidal flooding. Yes, we will get aerial flooding, poor drainage flooding, flash flooding, all that kind of stuff. But the storm surge will be less. A very rainy situation regardless of what happens on Tuesday. 3 to 6 inches of rain possible out of this. And it's a quick moving storm. So the worst case scenario, no matter what, is going to be avoided. It's in and out of here. If it's an inland track, it's out by midday on Wednesday. If it's an offshore thing, it's out of here after midnight on Tuesday. So that's good at least. It's not going to linger. We're not going to have 4, 5, 6 tide cycles with tidal flooding. 1 or 2, that's what I'm thinking right now, but I'll update those thoughts tomorrow. Monday and Tuesday, rain. After that, mid to upper 80s. Average for this time of the year, a little unsettled. Typical August weather. Have yourselves a great day. Stay tuned for more details, and don't forget to download the Norcast Weather app, available for free in your Apple and Android store. Stay safe out there and enjoy your sunshine today.